We're joined in the studio by Jamie McCanney. Welcome along, Jamie. It's been, what a cracking start to the year.
Yeah, cheers and thanks for having me here. But yeah, it's been an amazing experience. You know, normally in January it's pretty quiet, but it's been the maddest 2 weeks of my life so far.
Now, last time you were in and you spoke to Helen, you were preparing for the Dakar Rally, which happens at the start of every year. You were making your debut in that. To people who might not have heard the interview or not quite sure what it's all about, describe the Dakar Rally to me.
The Dakar Rally, it's the largest, most dangerous off-road race in the world. You know, it's we travel around 8,000 kilometers in 12 days, so it's over 5,000 miles in 12 days. We spend 12 hours a day on the bike.
And for anyone thinking this is a rally on a bike on tarmac, it's not, is it? It's very different.
No, it's purely off-road. In the desert. This year was the first year in Saudi Arabia.
Wow, incredible. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube, type in Dakar Rally. It is mighty impressive. So you've had a great debut. I think 15th top Brit, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. And, it's as a competitor, you always want more. And but, you have to go into these kind of events pretty level-headed and you can't go out there. It's almost like related to the TT. You can't just go out and try and win your first TT, but I'm happy enough with it. I'm not you always want more. I know how many mistakes I made in the first week, and if could, should, all that kind of palaver, but I'm happy I've got home safe, and hungry for some more now.
I know it's something you wanted to do, and you've been training hard for it, but was there a point, certainly during the first couple of stages, where you thought, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, well, like last year I was injured and I spent a lot of time off the bike, so it's not like I was training really hard and learning the road book as much as I could, and I wasn't peaking going into the event. So some of my family members were like, do you think you can actually finish the event? Not like how well you're going to do, it's whether can I actually get to the finish line. So yeah, the first few days, like, just not even used to waking up really early to go riding and then come back and prep all your stuff. I was just training. I wasn't in race conditions for a lot of last year, so I actually slept through my first alarm for the day one, and I woke up an hour late, and I literally made the start of the Dakar by about 5 minutes.
Wow.
And my heart rate was about 200 as well.
Well, so no warm-up needed then. And the event, as grueling as it looks on the telly?
The telly makes it look glamorous.
Right, okay.
There's so much behind the scenes where, when you come off the bike, it's not like a relax. You're kind of rushing to get off the bike and then trying to sort everything, trying to get food down. You're trying to sort your kit for the next day. You've got your road book coming during the night, so you have to spend 3 or 4 hours doing that. And before you know it, it's 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and the team come and knock on the door and say the wake up call is at 3 o'clock in the morning. So
wow.
You're back on the bike at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it felt like you haven't even closed your eyes. And it's not just 1 or 2 days like that. It's 12 days of that. So luckily we have a rest day in the middle, which is well needed. But
and do you get much rest done on that day, or are you thinking ahead to the second half of the rally?
Obviously try and have a lie-in instead of waking up at 3-4 o'clock. So woke up 8-9 o'clock, had a nice breakfast, and by 12 o'clock we got our road book for the next day. So obviously the other times we were getting at 4 o'clock and going to bed late. So at 12 o'clock it was kind of back into normal routine, prepping your stuff for the next day and trying to get an early night.
When you're on the bike, are you on your own? I mean, I've got visions of like the guys in the cars and the trucks having communication back to people, but are you totally on your own, isolated?
Completely alone. Yeah, completely alone.
So you've got the road book. How do you have to memorize it? Is it what have you got? What's the sketch?
Basically, you've got a scroll. It's a lot
right.
like rally and the night rallies and stuff. We just got a scroll, and you've got your kilometers and your directions, and you've got the scroll on your thumb, and basically you have to line up your distance with what's on your road book, and you have to move with your thumb and keep up to date where you are. by yourself, it doesn't add up whilst you're riding. If you don't scroll up, you don't know what's coming up next. So.
Wow, so not just physically draining, but mentally taxing as well. I mean, 12 days of that just sounds horrendous.
Yeah, I was more mentally drained than physically drained.
And going into it, was it as you expected? Was there surprises? What was it like?
Obviously, it being the first time in Saudi, it was new to everyone, and no one really knew what to expect. When it was in Africa or South America, everyone's it starts hard and eases off, and we go into sand. So, we could only take the organisers' word for it, and I think they were very busy. Obviously, it's completely new for them as well. Yeah. So, we got told the second week was pure sand, and we're in the dunes, and it come to the second week, and it was like day 6, and it was just kind of flat out along like huge plateaus, and then the next day it was flat out, and I kind of, because the first week I was just purely focusing on my navigation, I was quite far back, and then I thought I'm gonna let it go the second week and have a go, but I just kept coming back a bit disappointed, thinking I thought we were getting sand, and the next day I thought we were getting sand, and up until day 10 and 11, and then like day 10 was quite cool, there's a bit of sand, and then day 11 I was like, this is what I thought the Dakar was all about. So, and luckily I got my best result there as a 6th. So.
And do you cope well with the unknown, or do you prefer to know exactly what the sketch is?
We get a rider's briefing every night, and they kind of give you warnings and more updates about what's gone on since they actually checked the track out 3 months before. They've had storms and stuff, so they always try and give you as much information as possible. It's very difficult over a 300-mile loop to try and tell you, there's a water rut at kilometre 250. It's not that easy, so you have to be fully alert all the time. It is strange, you just riding not as fast as you can, but you're riding fast, and you've never seen what's in front of you, and you're trusting this piece of paper that you've scribbled some highlights on in front of you. It sounds a bit mental.
So now you've done it, what will you do differently in the build up to next year?
Yeah, I've got to go and just study the road book.
Right.
My riding was fine. I felt okay. I need to spend more time on the rally bike instead of just my enduro bike, and purely just focus on the road book. That's the only thing that was kind of holding me back from anything else. I just, to be sat at 70 or 80 mile an hour and doing a few turns, and there's stones here and there, I just couldn't look down, read what I needed to read, and look back up and be in control. I couldn't do that, so I had to slow right the way down, and sometimes almost come to a halt to understand what I was looking at and what kind of instruction I was trying to get out of the piece of paper that was in front of me. So,
well, I mean, I'm getting tired studying here talking about it, I tell you. Absolutely fantastic result for you as well. 15th overall, was it? And I think the top Brit and second best rookie.
Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. And so you're itching to get going again for 2021.
Yeah, that's it. Slightly disappointed I didn't get the rookies. I got that purely on speed and penalties. I lost 14 minutes on speed and penalties and lost the rookies by 10 minutes. So, that was a bit of a kick in the teeth, because you can't, you don't wait for someone to lose time. You have to wait for them to lose time. You can't make time back. So when you've done that mistake, there's no coming back from it. So that was turning on me the last few nights, knowing that I was creeping back up, but it was just a bit too far away.
Of course, you can't do an event like that on your own. You must have had quite a lot of help.
Yeah, I've had a lot of support from obviously family and friends who followed me along the way, and as well some sponsors. I've had Duke Video being on board and Isle of Man Sport. Without them two local businesses helping me, from the start, they haven't just jumped on board late on. They've helped me from the very start. So, I really appreciate that, and I'm really happy to have local support going to big worldwide events as well. So.
Well, I think it's been an absolutely fantastic Dakar Rally for you, and thank you very much for coming in and telling us about your adventure. And I'm sure we'll be hearing again from you in the not too dim and distant.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.